In this video, we will be going over the problems you could run into if you change the decking to a 45-degree angle. And before we even get started with this video, you should always check the manufacturer's installation instructions. And if they don't mention anything about running the decking at a 45-degree angle, then you might want to use the information in this video. And most deck manufacturers require a 16-inch on-center layout for the joist. This seems to be an extremely common joist layout pattern. And if we take a look at a 16-inch on-center layout, and that would be 16 inches from the center of the joist to the center of the next joist, we're going to end up with a 14.5-inch measurement between the joist if we run our decking perpendicular to the joist or in this direction. However, that's not going to be the case over here. We're going to have a 6-inch larger bay, suggesting that we could run into a problem if the deck manufacturer is requiring a 16-inch on-center spacing for perpendicular decking and doesn't provide you with installation instructions or on-center spacing for decking that is going to be running at an angle. And if we make the angle larger, for example, a 60-degree angle, then we might be dealing with even a larger measurement or gap between the joist. And if the decking manufacturer doesn't have a specified joist layout, then I would suggest spacing the joist a little closer together. And I won't be able to provide you with that particular measurement. However, I can provide you with an example of a 12-inch on-center joist layout spacing and a 10.5-inch bay, 10.5-inch measurement between the joist, providing us with a 1 foot 2 7/8 or almost 15-inch measurement between the joist at a 45-degree angle. So if I wanted the joist spacing to be 14.5 inches, I could simply just move this over a little bit, maybe use an 11-inch instead of a 12-inch on-center layout measurement. And this is probably going to be the most common method used. However, there is another one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one, where we are going to change the direction of the joist so that they will be perpendicular to our decking or at a 90-degree angle. However, this design might require a larger board, a beam, or some double joist on each side, some blocking, and of course some additional joist hangers. And I'm not about to figure out which one is going to be cheaper. I will leave that up to you because some of these joist hangers can be expensive along with the beams, if you can even get them in your area. And it might be difficult to install blocking like this. I will provide you with another method that might be a little easier. And we have at least a 1/2-inch gap between the decking and the finished wall. And you might need to make your gap a little wider. And in this example, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with the cantilever because the beam here is going to pick up some of the cantilever. And then we go back to where this one here is probably back far enough to where it's going to be supporting the rim joist for the deck. However, you could always move this out a little further if this is going to be a concern of yours. And I don't think we're going to need any hangers on the outside here. And you probably don't need a hanger over here or over here. And we will be able to cut the decking square instead of at a 45-degree angle on some of the decking. However, we will need to cut it at a 45-degree angle around the perimeter. And of course, the other method I was referring to would be to simply notch the joist so that you could install some type of a support board like we have here. And I went ahead and made this construction standard lumber. However, you can use treated lumber if you need to, and these joists don't need to be treated lumber for every deck building project. However, I do understand that some areas where it snows a lot or you get a lot of moisture might need to build the entire deck out of treated materials. So again, you can see here where the notches need to be so that we can install our 2x4. And we're simply going to end nail into the joist, which makes attaching this board a little bit easier. then installing the blocks. And of course, make sure that you use corrosive resistant nails or screws. And another thing you could do would be to add another support beam to reduce the span of the joist if you find yourself in a situation where the joists are going to be a little too long. And in some cases, the additional support beam might allow you to reduce the size of the end board. However, since I am not an engineer, I will not be able to provide you with exactly what those measurements would be or what would allow you to do something like this. And if you want to get rid of the hangers, you could always take this beam here and lower it to where the top of it is even with the top of these beams, and then these joists here can sit on top of the beam without the hangers. And that is about all I have to say for this particular problem at this particular point in time. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment area. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed watching the video or learned something from it.